Well, good morning, everyone. I will now call to order the September 11th, 2025 Clackamas County Board of County Commissioners Business Meeting, and I will turn to Gary Schmidt. Would you please call the roll for us,
Yes,
sir?
thank you, Chair. First, our staff support today, Interim County Counsel Billy Williams, Clerk to the Board Andrew Jiraki. Commissioner West is running behind, but he will be here shortly. Roll call, Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Helm.
Here.
Commissioner Savas.
Present.
Chair Roberts.
Here. All right, thank you. Please stand, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, again, good morning. I will now open the meeting for public communication. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person. I'd ask that your comments be respectful and courteous. As a reminder, you can also email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and these will be accepted as a part of the public record. I'll take in-person testimony first, and I will turn to our clerk to moderate the in-person, and then we'll switch to virtual testimony after that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've received 4 blue cards for those attending who wish to speak today. If you are attending this meeting in person and wish to speak during public communication, this is a reminder to please fill out a blue card, which can be found on the table by the center doors. Deposit in the box, and I will call them the order that they are received. First, I have Mr. Ed Wagner. Mr. Ed Wagner, please come forward and introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ed Wagner. I live at 21620 Southwest Stafford Road. 2 years ago this month, we formed a legal nonprofit organization called Safe Stafford Road to challenge PG&E's plan to install industrial-type high-voltage power poles and lines from the Rosemont Power Station in Lake Oswego to Wilsonville. Safe Stafford Road is composed of over 100 homeowners who either live on Stafford Road or in the immediate area. Over the past 2 years, Safe Stafford Road and our homeowners have been very active in opposing the ZDO 288 policy proposal, which ultimately was ruled to require a conditional use permit for all overhead and underground transmission lines, and also PG&E's non-conforming use permit application, which was denied this past March. We have been very grateful that the planning commissioners, the planning department, and the Board of Commissioners have given us the opportunities to voice our concerns, and also for the decisions that have been made by the county regarding both the ZDO 288 and the non-conforming permit. However, we are once again faced with what may be one of the most critical decisions the county will ever make that will impact Clackamas County forever. In 2 weeks' time, on September 25th, there's a county hearing. Officer will rule on PG's conditional use permit application as whether to approve or deny the construction of 80 to 120 feet tall steel power poles and high voltage lines on Stafford Road. The criticality of this decision lies with whether the Clackamas County Comprehensive Plan will be upheld or not. When the comprehensive plan was developed, a significant portion of the reason for the plan was to protect the rural and semi-rural nature of Clackamas County. Many of our roads are designated as scenic roads, which is meant to protect these roads specifically from significant and unusual development. The protective criteria of the scenic road designation was designed specifically to reject this type of construction. PG has planned for the high voltage lines. For 2 solid years, PG has done everything they can to change the rules, and they have succeeded at the PUC, where House Bill 3681 has exempted the PUC from considerations like safety, alternative routes and technologies, and public input, and instead gives the PUC rubber stamp authority to grant property condemnation authority with no regard for homeowners' input. This squarely puts the onus on the county and land use decisions. Make no mistake, this is a test case to see how far PG can go in its transmission line development plans. If the conditional use permit is granted, it will open the floodgates for all of our scenic roads to be changed forever. The rural nature of our communities will be lost, and once there's lost, there's no getting it back. We hope that the board will use your internal voice to provide some guidance within the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next, Kelly Bartholomew. Kelly Bartholomew, please come forward, introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Morning.
Hi.
Before I begin, I wanted to ask 2 questions. One is, Chair Roberts, if I may, please ask for an exception and have 5 minutes to speak. I have a few things I need to update you guys on I think are very important. And number 2, may I please leave the board with a document outlining my statements this morning in a little more detail?
All right. And how many cards do we have? Make sure I give everybody.
Chair, I have 2 more additional blue cards, as well as an unknown number of online wishers to speak.
Okay. I'll go ahead and give you that extra time, and you can submit that document to County Administrator Gary Schmidt.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes of your time. As many of you know, my name's Kelly Bartholomew. I'm an officer of Safe Stafford Road, and I was an intervener in the Public Utility Commission's PCN 6 case. This was the case in which PGE applied for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct its Rosemont-Wilsonville Stafford Road transmission line. This is part of the larger Tonkin project. I first came before this board over 2 years ago to address ZDO 288 and to advocate for requiring land use permits for above-ground transmission lines, particularly when private property condemnation is required. Since then, much has transpired, and I would like to update you before the critical September 25th hearing on this case, as Ed was referring to. Today, I want to tell you about 1, House Bill 3681, which Ed spoke about briefly, 2, why this is a precedent-setting case, and 3, the truth about necessity. House Bill 3681. My involvement in this PUC case brought to light many deficiencies and inappropriately granted waivers at the PUC. To solve this, utility companies lobbied legislators to introduce House Bill 3681. This bill passed and was signed by the governor and goes into effect January of 2026. The bill was marketed as an Energy Facility Siting Council bill. Unfortunately, sandwiched in the middle of the bill were 4 sentences that eliminated the PUC's requirement to evaluate necessity, safety, or alternatives. It also eliminated the requirement of local land use approval prior to condemning property. So now PGE is free to condemn property without even having a land use permit. With these changes, local jurisdictions like Clackamas County are now the only check on for-profit utility companies' overreach and exploitation of private citizens for corporate profit. You are also now the only place where citizens can speak and be heard, so thank you for hearing us this morning. This is a precedent-setting case. This project is a defining moment for the county. If this line is allowed to proceed on one of the 24 specifically designated rural scenic roads in the comprehensive plan, it will render the spirit and intent of the comprehensive plan meaningless. And many more scenic roads in Clackamas County will become industrial-style transmission corridors. In fact, in anticipation of this expansion, PGE, with the blessing of the Public Utility Commission and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, has reclassified all of its 57 kV lines to transmission lines. And now PGE will tell you there already are transmission lines on rural scenic roads, because they're 57 kV lines that were just reclassified to transmission lines. The truth about necessity. PGE will also tell you this transmission line is essential and urgent to address reliability issues. The truth is there are many alternatives to cutting down 250 trees in the last remaining triangle of farmland separating 3 cities on a county-designated rural scenic road, installing industrial-style high-voltage lines through a fire-prone residential neighborhood dangerously close to homes and churches and sleeping children. PGE just installed over 400 megawatts of battery backup systems in the Portland metro area. The justification for this project is a potential overload of 35 megawatts. So this can easily be remedied in other ways. Unfortunately, the PUC gave PGE a pass on examining alternative options of non-wire solutions. They also gave them a pass on evaluating less impactful alternative routes. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission just came out with a report stating that renewable sources of energy make up 91% of the new energy generated in the first 5 months of 2025. PUC staff testimony stated, quote, PGE's evidence suggests it can and will construct the remainder of the Tonkin project, even if it cannot build the Rosemont-Wilsonville line. Thus, it could be argued the proposed line is not strictly necessary to the operation of the Tonkin project. So finally, the county must decide if it wants to permanently disfigure our treasured open spaces to accommodate an antiquated system of power that is rapidly being outpaced by newer technology, violates the comprehensive plan, and does not meet the conditional use requirements. For these reasons and many more, I'm requesting that this board support the planning department in denying PGE's conditional use permit application for the Stafford Road transmission line.
All right, thank you, Kelly.
Next, Rick Dodge. Rick Dodge, please come forward, introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to say thank you for lowering the flag at half-mast for one of our best and brightest young Americans that lost his life yesterday to an assassin. And the reason I'm here is because I was inspired by that, by what he's done. And I'm also concerned, as a native Oregonian, happily living in, I'm sorry, I'm Rick Dodge, I live in Clackamas County. Happily and thankfully living in Clackamas County. My concern here today is that the violence that's been going on in our state has been going unchecked. And anybody that wants to dispute that, just open up your eyes. And we haven't seen much of that here in our county, thank goodness. I don't want to see it come to our county. None of us do. And I hope the sheriff, and forgive me if I've pronounced her last name, I believe it's Angela Vanderberg, yeah. Close enough, is committed to, if and when it shows up, to do something about it. And that's my concern today, guys and gals. I didn't sleep last night over that. It's almost like a family member. And I realize that some people don't agree with what he did, but what he did probably more than anything was he gave direction to young people that really needed it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much.
Next, Brainerd Brower. Brainerd Brower, please come forward, introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Yeah, hello, I'm Brainerd Brower. I'm a lifelong resident here. I also run the gas station in Redland and property there. I haven't been back since the new election, so I appreciate having this in the first part of the business meeting back again. So thank you for that. You are our only elected representatives, so it's important that you make this accessible. So I titled this Not My Job, because I'm seeing a culture in the county staff, but not by any individuals. I'm really impressed by the county staff, for the most part. Maintenance, road maintenance have done a great job of shoulder maintenance and all that kind of stuff for, preserving safety and all that. And I think my relations with traffic engineering is better. We've made progress in the past. I've been going through permit processes, and that's been frustrating because, you talk to one department and they can't talk about the next department. And then you go in circles and you can go to somebody at the counter, and what they tell you isn't what ends up being the case. And you can't use what you've talked about before because you got to go through the new application process. And I've been patient, and everybody's been really helpful. I've had a side issue with the septic department, and they probably don't like me too much.
We didn't hear that.
But the septic department doesn't allow you, they don't come to the counter. So my current permit for putting in, I was going to do a guest area, is a ADU. I have to leave them a voicemail to call back, which I haven't got to call back. I have to leave them an email. I have to schedule an appointment, which is over a week out. The building department was really helpful. They went and talked to the septic department twice, but they won't come and talk to me. And they gave me the wrong guidance to fill out some form. I can't find the form. Nobody there could find the form. I wish when I called I could get through to somebody. The front desk person, when you walk in downstairs, they don't answer the phones. They could be answering the phones. At the front area, I sent a couple photos. There's a cigarette container metal that's busted off with sticking up metal. Well, I asked a few weeks ago or a month ago, well, get that thrown away because that's a hazard. If kids are around or something, somebody can get a staph infection from that. I come back yesterday, it's still there, but they put a new cigarette container next to it. It's everybody's tossing the ball, and I'm trying to address that. I'm kind of at wit's end about that, and I at least want to bring it up. But it's not talking about any particular staff member because there have been so many that have been really bending over backwards, and I think they're frustrated too. So anyway, thank you.
And if I could just perhaps have you leave your phone number with Gary, who'd like to follow up on
Yeah, I think
the
card,
septic
so-
issue. You have it? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Chair, we have Mr. Brower's contact information.
Great, thank you.
This is a final call if you're attending this meeting in person and wish to speak during public communication. This is your last opportunity to please fill out a blue card and deposit them in the box by the center doors. Mr. Chair, seeing no other members of the public physically present today wish to speak with your assent, I'll now move to those attending virtually. If you are attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment during public communication, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand, and I will call on you in the order that I see. Patty Boyd, I'll unmute you. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
There we go, unmuted. My apologies. Good morning. I also thank you for putting the public comments in the beginning of the meeting. My name is Patty Boyd. I live at 3889 Southeast LaCentre Lane, Milwaukee, Oregon. And I just have a question. I am attending the meetings virtually, but I represent about 10 people who would like to attend, but they work during the day. So I'm asking if there are any plans for any evening meetings in the future.
So, Gary, can you talk about the schedule? Because we have scheduled one evening event, but do we have anything coming up?
You have discussed having evening business meetings. You held one so far, and when we talk with you again, we'll schedule those coming out for the rest of the year, but it's not been scheduled yet.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. This is a final call if you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment during public communication. This is your last opportunity to please raise your hand, and I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Chair, I see no other members of the public, either physically or virtually present, who wish to speak today.
All right, thank you. I will now close the public communication portion. We'll move on. I will now recess as Board of County Commissioners and convene as a Housing Authority Board and turn to Gary as to what's first on our agenda here.
Thank you, Chair. You're now meeting as a Housing Authority Board of Clackamas County. Joining you online is Housing Resident Commissioner Ann Leenstra. We'll wait one moment, please, for Commissioner Leenstra to come on board.
All right, I think I've got sound.
You're there, yes. Thank you, Commissioner
Thank you.
Leenstra. Welcome. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda for the Housing Authority?
Housing Authority of Clackamas County Consent Agenda. Item A, Approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with Clackamas County to transfer funds to the county for coordinated delivery of housing and homeless services. Amendment value is $235,156.59 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $955,219.59 for 5 years. Funding is through Housing Authority federal and state administrative funds. No county general funds are involved. B, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with Clackamas County to receive funds from the county for the coordinated delivery of housing and homeless services. Amendment value is $30,050,409.96 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $61,527,111.33 for 5 years. Funding is through the Governor's State of Emergency due to homelessness and Metro. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the Housing Authority consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Questions, colleagues? You want to remove or make any amendments to the consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Chair, I move we approve the Housing Authority consent agenda.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Commissioner Helm has moved to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Schrader has seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Leenstra.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I'll now adjourn as the Housing Authority Board and reconvene as Board of County Commissioners. Gary?
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Leenstra, for joining us. Next is a presentation, the Spirit of Excellence Employee Awards. I will lead this presentation today. And I thank our speaker earlier today. We can always do better here as members of the employees serving the public, and we have incredible employees that support Clackamas County, all 2,500 of them. And today it is an honor to present the Spirit of Excellence Awards to a subset of these many employees who do great work every day. Now, what is SPIRIT? SPIRIT stands for the county's core values, SPIRIT, which stand for service, professionalism, integrity, respect, individual accountability, and trust. SPIRIT. These awards today have been, we've celebrated these awards for the past 12 years, the Spirit of Excellence Awards. Over 100 employees have been nominated by their peers who recognize employees for their exemplary service and dedication and modeling our core values of spirit every day. Of those 100 nominations, Human Resources and my office worked together to narrow it down to the best of the best. Now, everyone does great work. All 100 are phenomenal. And those that we're honoring today are really incredible for the service they have provided. So here's how we're going to do it this year. Natalie from Human Resources, ready? Here we go. So if Natalie, if you'll please come forward with her certificates, I'm going to call each employee's name one at a time and ask you to come and sit right here at the testimony table so the board can see you. And you're going to smile while I say wonderful things about you. And then Natalie will hand you the certificate. And then if you'll come back and sit in the front row, and then we'll bring you all back as a group to take a photo with the board. All right? So Natalie, if you want to sit at the table too, please. That's how we'll do it. So here we go, our honorees for the 2025 Spirit of Excellence Awards. So first, Terry Brown from Health, Housing, and Human Services. Come on down, Terry. Come on down, Terry. Oh, is Terry not here? Okay, we'll come back then. Joseph Dahlke from North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. Joe's here. Round of applause as Joe comes forward. So Joe Dahlke goes above and beyond to support North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District's natural resources and park maintenance, from leading volunteer events to tackling major restoration projects. His positive attitude, expertise in vegetation management, and dedication to keeping parks clean and safe have earned praise from partners and volunteers alike. Joe's hard work and leadership are leaving our natural areas better for generations to come. Congratulations, Joseph.
Congratulations.
Next, Stephanie Gregory from Health, Housing, and Human Services. Come on down, Stephanie. When an elevator malfunction left Stephanie and a client stuck for over 1 hour, she stayed calm, compassionate, and resourceful, supporting the client with care, communicating with staff, and following up afterward. Her professionalism and empathy turned a very stressful situation into a moment of trust and reassurance. Thank you, Stephanie. Congratulations. Christopher Hansen from the Sheriff's Office. Come on down, Christopher. Okay, we'll come back to that. Tina Johnson from North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. Come on down. Tina braved icy roads to manually operate the wave pool valves, ensuring that the aquatic park could open on time and serve the community. Her dedication and quick action truly saved the day. Thank you, Tina, and congratulations. Stephanie Judd from Health, Housing, and Human Services. Stephanie, come on down. Stephanie went above and beyond to support a family in crisis, personally ensuring urgent state paperwork was completed and submitted so a teen could access a state-funded group home. Her dedication, kindness, and commitment made a life-changing difference to this young person. Thank you, Stephanie, and congratulations. Casey Kanopik from Tourism. Casey embodies the Team Spirit Award with his positivity, professionalism, and purpose. As a communications and content strategist, he elevates Clackamas County tourism through creative storytelling, design expertise, and inclusive initiatives like accessible travel content. Casey's collaboration, innovation, and dedication make a lasting impact across the organization and our community. Thank you and congratulations, Casey. Jan O'Gara from Finance. Jan exemplifies the Spirit Award through her professionalism, integrity, and dedication. Known for her expertise in procurement, positive attitude, and willingness to go the extra mile, Jan consistently delivers exceptional service with transparency and respect, making her an invaluable asset to the Clackamas County team and the entire organization. Thank you and congratulations, Jan. So I'm gonna read the descriptions of those who can't be here, but I do want to check, is Mia Anders here from Elections? She was not able to come, but did she come after all? Okay. And did Sherry Stark from the Sheriff's Office? Okay, so let me read those who are not here today. I'll start. Mia Anders from the Elections Clerk's Office, Elections Division. Mia's meticulous proofreading and unwavering professionalism ensured the flawless production of the 96-page Clackamas County Voters Pamphlet. Their precision, collaboration, and dependability made them a cornerstone of the elections team. Let's recognize Mia, although they're not able to be here today. Sherry Stark from the Sheriff's Office. Officer Stark exemplifies professionalism, compassion, and courage in her work as a community service officer. Through her dedication on the threat assessment team, she supports both community members in crisis and vulnerable individuals with empathy and respect, making a lasting impact on the safety and well-being of Clackamas County. Thank you and congratulations to Sherry. Christopher Hansen, also from the Sheriff's Office. Chris goes above and beyond to keep the jail kitchen running smoothly, meeting tight deadlines, finding creative solutions to food shortages, and even covering shifts overnight to ensure timely, quality meals. His dedication, reliability, and teamwork make him an invaluable part of the jail's operations. Congratulations to Christopher. Terry Brown from Health, Housing, and Human Services. Terry exemplifies kindness, humility, and dedication in every interaction. His compassionate support recently earned extraordinary praise from a client who said Terry's care saved his life. Always professional, patient, and service-driven, Terry brings a servant's heart and unwavering commitment to helping others every day. Congratulations to Terry. So thank you to all of our honorees. All of our honorees will be featured in our upcoming employee weekly newsletter, and we'll put them on the website and acknowledge them. But we just want to thank you all in particular today for all you do for Clackamas County, for the public, for our organization. You make this a great place to be, and we do our best to serve the public through your actions. So thank you. And now the photo op. Please come forward, team, to take your photo with the Board of Commissioners. Board, please come forward.
All right, we're gonna have to get friendly. We're gonna have to do 2 rows.
Martha, you're the tall
All right. My job is done. Well, look at my camera, I guess. Is everybody good? Oh, one more. There we go. I feel good about it.
So I think before we move on, I just want to give the commissioners a chance to make comments. And I know Commissioner West had a comment.
So employees, don't leave the room yet. The commissioners want to talk about you.
Want to
Don't leave
just
the room
brag
yet,
for a
team.
second.
Come on back, everyone. Come on back.
Huh?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank you. And congratulations to the recipients. The Board of County Commissioners, I know, is very proud of the work that you guys all do. Often, it goes unsung, and there are many other employees throughout this county that do essential work to provide essential services to make sure that our neighbors' needs are met. And so you guys truly are the boots on the ground with the policy that is passed by policymakers, but you guys do really important work. And there's not anybody in this county that isn't directly touched by your guys' daily efforts. And in Clackamas County, we want to be known for being a good, responsive local government. And that's a key factor of who we are. And you truly embody the spirit acronym that we try to all operate by professionally. And so I just want to say thank you. It means a lot to me. And it helps also have trust with you in the work that you do because you're so professional and quality and you often go above and beyond what's asked of you. So thank you so much for showing up every single day to do that work.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Schrader, you can comment.
Well, how do I follow that accolade?
Right.
It's a tough one, but rest assured that we all know up on this dais that without your hard work and dedication to the citizens of this county, things just wouldn't happen for them. You really are the folks that make the county run. We're aware of it. I appreciate all of you for all that you've done. I've been here for a while, so I know how hard everybody works. So, Gary, we need to do this more often to make sure that our folks across the county are consistently reminded how essential they are to the services that we provide for our citizens. So kudos. Thanks to all of you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you who have received these awards, and I'm sure there's people out there that should receive them that didn't get them today. Having run my own business for many, many years, I do know that employees are the biggest asset a company can have, and they should be treated like gold. I appreciate all that you do. I will say, too, that being new to this seat, I get a lot of chatter from people out in the community, and anytime someone says something bad about Clackamas County or the employees, they get a smacking from me, so.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Savas?
Yeah, I too had learned a long time ago as an employer how valuable my workforce was, and I consider them family, and I consider all of you family, our work family, right? And I know that the elected officials, as we take I guess we're the figureheads or we have a speech when we're either breaking ground or we're cutting a ribbon on a big project and we're getting all the credit, but really the background is all of you, right, who make it all happen. And also along with all the daily successes that we have and all the service we provide. So we don't shine without you, without your help. And so it's your moment right now to shine. I know some of you, I could just sense that some of you are a little bit more modest than most, right? And you don't like getting all the attention, but you know, it's deserved. And I just want to just say thank you for your years of service and working for Clackamas County.
And just a quick comment. This really is amazing to hear today. And what I really enjoyed a lot, I'll just be honest with you, is all your fellow colleagues cheering you on. I think finance might have had the most loud clap going on back there. And so, but that's really what it's about. It is about a team. It's about all of us working together. We have difficult days. Sometimes we come to work and, boy, how am I going to get through this? But it is by all of us coming together to work together to really make it better for the citizens we serve. And each and every one of you do such an important role that it is because of you that we really do have, as one gentleman came, he just really talked about how positive his interaction is with the county, and that just carries on and on. So my thanks to all of you, and I just like to encourage the board, let's give you guys all a big round of applause before you leave and just say thank you. Very nice. Congratulations. Thank you, guys, and have a good rest of your day. I'll turn to Gary on what's next.
Thank you, Chair. Next is the consent agenda for Clackamas County. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Item A, elected officials. 1, approval of previous business meeting minutes for the Board of County Commissioners. 2, approval of a grant application to the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for organized retail theft enforcement cost assistance. Application value is $800,000 for 2 years. Funding is to the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of a grant application to the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for Phase 1 expansion of deflection and conditional discharge programs. Application value is $395,050 for 18 months. Funding is to the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. B, County Administration. 1, approval of a grant application to the Oregon Department of Energy for rooftop solar at the Recovery Campus. Grant value is approximately $300,000 for one-time costs. Funding is to the Oregon Department of Energy. No county general funds are involved. C, County Council. 1, approval of a purchase and sale agreement with the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District for the condominium replat of the Oak Lodge Library property. Purchase price is $190,693.89. Funding is through budgeted county general funds. 2, approval of an agreement with the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District for permanent storm line and right-of-way easements at Concord Park and Community Center and Oak Lodge Library properties. No fiscal impact, no county general funds are involved. D, Tourism. 1, approval of a professional services contract with Snowfish to provide search engine marketing management. Contract value $651,956 for 4 years. Funding is through the transient lodging tax. No county general funds are involved. E, Transportation and Development. 1, approval of a resolution declaring the public necessity and purpose for the acquisition of rights-of-way, easements, and fee property, and authorizing good faith negotiations and, if necessary, condemnation proceedings for Southeast 172nd Avenue Improvements Project. Project value is $44,922,808. Funding is through City County Transportation System Development Charge District funds, developer contributions, and the City of Happy Valley funds. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of a board order for a purchase order of a tractor mower. Purchase order value is $151,858. Funding is through the County Road Fund. No county general funds are involved. F, Health, Housing, and Human Services. 1, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Housing Authority of Clackamas County to receive funds from the Housing Authority for coordinated delivery of housing and homeless services. Amendment value is $235,156.59 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $955,219.59 for 5 years. Funding is through Housing Authority federal and state administrative funds. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Housing Authority of Clackamas County to transfer funds to the Housing Authority for the coordinated delivery of housing and homeless services. Amendment value is $30,050,409.96 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $61,527,111.33 for 5 years. Funding is through the Governor's State of Emergency due to homelessness and Metro. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of a subrecipient grant agreement with the West Lynn Wilsonville School District to provide youth substance use prevention programming. Agreement value is $200,000 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. 4, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with the Senior Citizens Council of Clackamas County to provide guardianship, conservatorship, and diversion services for at-risk seniors and adults. Amendment value is $179,550 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $530,100 for 3 years. Funding is the Older Americans Act and $99,965 in budgeted county general funds. 5, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with Friends of the Estacada Community Center to provide meal and transportation services to older adults. Amendment value is $123,898 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $472,072 for 3 years. Funding is through the Oregon Department of Human Services and statewide transportation improvement funds. No county general funds are involved. 6, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District on behalf of the Milwaukee Community Center to provide meal and transportation services to older adults. Amendment value is $395,255 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $1,352,517 for 3 years. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services and statewide transportation improvement funds. No county general funds are involved. 7, approval of a revised intergovernmental revenue agreement with the Oregon Department of Human Services for intellectual and developmental disabilities programs. Agreement value is $38,187,575 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services and $136,724 in budgeted county general funds. 8, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient grant agreement with the City of Wilsonville on behalf of its Wilsonville Community Center for meal and transportation services to older adults. Amendment value is $97,589 for 1 year. Agreement value is $358,859 for 3 years. Funding is through the Oregon Department of Human Services. No county general funds are involved. 9, approval of personal services contract with Uncommon Bridges for recruitment, facilitation, and ongoing support services for the Housing Services Advisory Group. Agreement value is $187,740 for 10 months. Funding is through Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. 10, approval of amendments to a service agreement with OCHIN Incorporated for the operation of Epic Electronic Health Records and delegation of future signing authority for up to $50,000 of future amendments. Combined amendments value is $9,461.40. Funding is through Health Center's Fee for Services. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the consent agenda.
Yeah, thank you very much. Colleagues, do you wish to remove any item from the consent agenda?
No, Chair, I just want to speak to one, just in the theme of great work the county's done, our staff have done. I know that the one, and we'll also be talking about it under NCPRD with regard to the purchase and sale agreement for the Oak Lodge property. We asked our staff to do something unique, and that was to make sure that the library, property the library sits on would remain property of the county, and separate that when it's, there it is, somewhat in the center, if you want to call it that, of the Concord property. That was a big lift. That was not, there was a lot of work behind the scenes involved in that. I just want to just say thank you to all the staff. Again, easy for us to say, go do it. But it was a big lift, and they did a tremendous amount of really good work. So just want to say thank you. Everyone involved. Gary, your leadership, and everyone else's, so thank you.
Thank you. Not seeing any other comments. May I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Savas has moved to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Helm has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, may I have you call the poll for us?
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I will now recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the North Clackamas Parks and Rec District Board of Directors. Gary?
Thank you. This is the consent agenda for the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Consent Agenda, Item A, approval of a purchase and sale agreement with Clackamas County for the condominium replat of the Oak Lodge Library property. Purchase price is $190,693.89. Funding is through budgeted county general funds. B, approval of an agreement with Clackamas County for permanent storm line and right-of-way easements at Concord Park and Community Center and Oak Lodge Library properties. No fiscal impact. No county general funds are involved. C, approval of an amendment to a grant agreement with Clackamas County for delivery of Older Americans Act-funded senior services. Amendment value is $395,255 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $1,352,517 for 3 years. Funding is through the Oregon Department of Human Services and the Older Americans Act. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Board of Directors consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Do any of my fellow directors wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
I move to approve the NCPRD consent agenda.
Second?
All right, Director Savas has moved to approve the North Clackamas Parks Rec District consent agenda. Director Schrader has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Clerk, can I have you call the poll for us?
Director Helm.
Aye.
Director West.
Aye.
Director Schrader.
Aye.
Director Savas.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. I will now adjourn as the North Clackamas Parks and Rec District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Development Agency Board. And Gary.
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda for the Development Agency of Clackamas County. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Development Agency Consent Agenda, Item A, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with Water Environment Services for the Monroe Street Improvement Project. Amendment value is $18,000 and no time increase. Total agreement value is $233,940 for 2 years. Funding is through the Water Environment Services Sanitary Sewer Construction Fund. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the Development Agency Consent Agenda.
Right. Directors wish to remove any item? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
I move we approve the Development Agency consent agenda.
Second.
All right. Director Helm has moved to approve the Development Agency consent agenda. Director Savas is second. Any further discussion? Making sure I don't see anything. Seeing none, Clerk, would you please call the poll?
Director Schrader.
Aye.
Director West.
Aye.
Director Savas.
Aye.
Director Helm.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, Mr. Chair.
Right. I will now adjourn as the Development Agency Board and convene as the Water Environment Services Board of Directors. Thank you. Gary, what is next?
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda for Water Environment Services. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Water Environment Services Consent Agenda, Item A, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Clackamas County Development Agency for the Monroe Street Improvement Project. Amendment value is $18,000 and no time increase. Total agreement value is $233,940 for 2 years. Funding is through the Water Environment Services Sanitary Sewer Construction Fund. No county general funds are involved. B, approval of a resolution of necessity and purpose authorizing the acquisition of necessary easements by good faith negotiations and, if necessary, condemnation for the Rock Creek Sewer Extension. Funding is through Water Environment Services Sanitary Sewer Construction Fund. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the Water Environment Services Board of Directors consent agenda.
Thank you. Do my fellow directors wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
I move we approve the West consent agenda.
Second.
All right, Director Helm has moved to approve the West consent agenda. Director Savas has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Clerk, would you please call the poll?
Director West.
Aye.
Director Schrader.
Aye.
Director Savas.
Aye.
Director Helm.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I will now adjourn as the Water Environment Services Board of Directors and reconvene, excuse me, as the Board of County Commissioners. Gary.
Thank you. Next is County Administrator Update. That's me. I like to recognize our county employees during my time. Of course, you heard a lot today under the Spirit of Excellence Awards, and there's even more. So today I'd like to share appreciation to our employees in the Road Crew Division of our Transportation and Development Department. They recently received this nice note from a resident in Canby, who wrote, "I wanted to sit down and thank you for putting South Gribble Road in Canby on the list to repave the road. The last time the road was repaved, our daughter Amy was 4 years old. This year, Amy turned 51 years old. Through all those years, your road maintenance crews kept the potholes filled and safe to drive on. However, the road needed more work. The crew was always pleasant when I asked questions or to say hello. Everyone on the crew were working so hard for the road repavement. Wow, it was super fun to watch how organized and efficient and down to the last detail they were. Very impressive. Their directions to me were clear as I went to town and back. Even on Highway 170, it was coordinated perfectly. What fun for me to see them in action. I won't go on and on. I know your complete team is a well-run machine from planning to getting the job done perfectly." Thank you for that kind note, and that's what our road crews do every day to help the public on our roads. So thank you for our road crews. Thank you for our employees for the great work they do. That is my update today. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, thank you. And now's the time for Commissioner communication. So I will begin to my right with Commissioner Schrader.
Thank you so much, Chair. I would like to, yep, I was shut off there for a minute. I'd like to start by mentioning to everybody that today is the anniversary of 911 many years ago. I think all of us probably remember where we were when that happened. Ironically, I was at a leadership course in Bend and didn't know anything had happened until I walked into the meeting that day because I keep my mornings quiet and don't listen to the news or have the radio going, so it was a shock to everybody. And tonight, our local VFW is having the event. They do this every year on our circle around here that's dedicated to our veterans. And it really is, invite everyone to come if you can make it. It's an important thing that they put together every year, and it honors our veterans, our military personnel, our first responders, and all those folks who are on the ground that keep us safe in the event of any kind of a catastrophe. So if you can make it tonight, I believe it's, colleagues, it starts at 6 o'clock, and it's a wonderful, good way to remember that one day there was a dark period in our history, and it was particularly dark for me because, as many folks know, I'm a web foot now. I've been here long enough, since 1977, but I actually grew up outside of New York City. I was familiar with the whole area that was devastated. I was familiar with the building, and luckily had a close friend who was in the vicinity and was able to evacuate and was safe. So there's a personal reason why I always try and remember this day. Another thing I'd like to mention today is the Oak Lodge Library. We had a tour of the library, and it is top-notch. It's beautiful. It has one of the nicest parks now in the area. I think that we really are very proud of. It's serving an area that has been habitually underserved, and I'm glad that we could get that going. And as usual, all libraries to me are really special places, and oftentimes they are some of the most beautiful, beautiful buildings that we have with the interior. Of course, it's always great to be surrounded by books, let's be honest. But architecturally, how this particular library is designed, how light, how open it is, it's really an outstanding addition to our library system here in Clackamas County. So that's great with that. Finally, I want to give a shout out to Clackamas Community College. The Cougars are starting classes this week, and Clackamas is one of our premier opportunities for students who want to get an associate's degree, a start on a way to a four-year institution, and the kinds of things they offer are fantastic. They have educational focus areas in business, creative arts, communication, and humanities, health professions, industrial technology, automotive, natural resources, science, technology, engineering, and math, social studies, human services, and criminal justice, and teaching and education. One of the things we've been working on as a county with Oregon State University and Clackamas Community College, because they were able to pass a bond to upgrade their campus and continue the services that they offer to everybody in our community. We've been working on a co-location in a new building that will really house, we hope, all the services Extension has and the kinds of services we do with environmental learning, horticulture. And OSU already has a presence on the campus in that the Small Farmers Program that educates people that want to get into small farming, agriculture, technologies, things of that sort, we already share space with them and work with the North Willamette Valley Experiment Station to actually have those courses there. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been part of those conversations. Just to give a report to the commission, I think they're going really well. Both OSU and Clackamas Community College are looking at what their needs are, and they will come back together and, as a group, design that building. We hope to meet everybody's needs. So that's what I've got today, everyone, and thank you, Chair, for letting me speak. Okay.
Right. Thank you. Commissioner Savas?
Yeah, thank you. Today's, and even this week, I was just thinking about today's, how important, significant this day is, and actually that year, 2001, for me personally, it was a significant year. I learned a lot, experienced a lot, and I was elected for the first time, and actually in May of 2001, and proceeded to go to a conference in Washington, D.C. on domestic and international terrorism, and it was an eye-opener. And the reason that was a pre-conference item was because of our vulnerability for infrastructure, whether it was water, sewer, or utilities. I learned a lot, and I reflected back during that conference on, when I was a young kid growing up, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, followed by the Vietnam War. My dad put me to work at a young age working at the Long Beach Naval Hospital, so I visited the Long Beach Naval Hospital, the Naval Air Base, where the incoming came in. So I had a strange childhood and saw a lot of loss. And when you're going room to room selling newspapers, and you're waiting, you're reading the newspaper, and at the bottom of the fold, the front page of every page was the fatalities every day in Vietnam and the stories about that. So it hit home a little bit, again, back in June of 2001, when I heard about this, was concerned about the future and the disruption. And terrorism, one way or another, is still happening, including yesterday. Another person, significant, a political, Charlie Kirk, was essentially assassinated. And that's not the first, and it won't be the last. And we've had a number of domestic terrorism, so to speak, and it is terrorism, let alone assassination. But it is a reminder of how much unrest there is and loss, and it just strikes me. I was sharing with my colleague yesterday that I'll have a tough day today. I'm just remembering back on September 11th, just a few months later, after that conference, 9/11 happened, and I just thought, wow, that they had the intel to know that something was happening. They didn't know what, and they didn't know where, but they knew something was happening. So I just want to recognize, those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in so many ways, over so many wars, over so many issues, and it's just an unfortunate event yesterday, and again today, recognizing those who lost their life. The first responders, we're going to have a ceremony today in our Circle of Honor tonight. That's always a very touching moment. Moving on, yesterday, Myself, Commissioner Helm, and Chair Roberts, we attended or did a tour of the Parrot Creek facility. Wow, what a transformation. For those of you who were there years back, it was like, I mean, quite impressive, the work that they have done. So kudos goes out to the board, the Parrot Creek board, and all the people who contributed to that cause. Fantastic facility. I was really, really impressed with that. And Martha mentioned the tour of the facility out in the Concord Park and Library. Wow, very impressive. So a lot of good things are happening in Clackamas County, and I think we take for granted the last few years here, all the work we've done, and now we're seeing some of the final product on a lot of these things. And so we made a lot of significant investment, and we're doing a lot of good things, though we have financial challenges. And we'll have a rough road ahead between now and next year's budget, but we'll make it through. Chair, I yield back.
All right, thank you. Commissioner West?
Thank you, Chair. Today is really, really hard for me, and it's really, really hard for a lot of Oregonians and Americans. And I'm going to focus on why that's hard, and I'm not going to speak to county business today because I just don't have it in me. Yesterday, September 10th, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while speaking to 3,000 students on a university campus in Utah. If you don't know who Charlie Kirk is, your kids probably do. Tens of millions of young people across this nation were represented, and their voices were heard when they thought many were no longer listening, because Charlie Kirk was able to engage with them in such a meaningful way. In my lifetime, nobody has ever captured the attention of the youth politically and culturally in a way that Charlie Kirk has. Tens of thousands of students across this nation for years would listen to him tell them the benefits of having a family and engaging civically and being young people who cared about their country, what it was to be an American and why that was excellent. He was the single most important conservative political organizer in the country. He founded an organization called Turning Point USA. He was assassinated yesterday at 31 years old. He left a beautiful young wife behind and 2 lovely children that he cared for deeply. He was a talented speaker, debater. He was always friendly and courteous, no matter how snipey and mean you were back at him, no matter what your opinions were. And it was okay if you disagreed with him. He relished in robust debate. He disagreed with you, but he never challenged your human dignity. And political violence in America, and specifically in Oregon, have become all too commonplace. One thing I love about Commissioner Schrader that she always champions and makes sure we never lose sight of is that we can be the dearest of friends and also have the biggest disagreements. She talks about being our better angels, and she's never telling you to compromise your values. She's saying, share your thoughts with me and let's have some ravioli. That's the truth. It's something that's awesome about Clackamas County. But in spite of that, in my time, I didn't live through the 60s and 70s where there was a lot of this type of unrest, but in my time as a young man, I've never seen such division. It's really easy for us to begin to see our political opponents as our enemies and not as our neighbors that just have a different perspective and a different life than we've had. And if we can blatantly and easily just throw out epithets and slurs about somebody who lives next door to us and call them quickly and easily Nazi, fascist, or racist, then we don't have to see them as human, and then that leads to more political violence. We've lost basic virtue, basic decency, and one of the best among us was slain yesterday. I am shook by that. America is about free speech, robust debate, the exchange of ideas, so we don't devolve into political violence. It's what makes us exceptional, what makes us leaders on the world stage is to be able to have these conversations. The moment we devolve into political violence, civil society will begin to unravel. We will lose Oregon and our country. And I am fearful of that today. It's interesting, my son really doesn't like politics, probably because his dad is a politician. That's probably pretty normal. But one of the only political influencers that he would ever listen to was Charlie, and I had nothing to do with that. I had to have really hard conversations about where America is in Oregon with my 19-year-old. I don't know where to go here from today, but I don't know if I'll be the same after this assassination. I'll say this, I hope to be better because of Charlie's legacy. I hope to be a better leader. I hope to be braver. And I hope to find a way to teach others and by example how to heal deep wounds in our society without resorting to violence. This isn't even about Charlie's opinions. This is about how we have conversations with our neighbors and love one another despite our differences. And remember, there's only one America, there's only one Oregon, and we're all in this together. 9/11 also is, these are crazy conversations to have back to back, but 9/11 also is something I'll never forget. You know, it happened before my son was born. I remember exactly where I was at, like every member of Clackamas County, this board, and in America. It wasn't long after we saw the planes hit the two towers in New York City and watched the despair happen and the explosions and the chaos that I learned that my friend Eric was in the second plane. That was also an act of political violence and terrorism. And the day after what the nation is facing, and you may not know who Charlie is, but millions upon millions and millions of people, all the way to the highest ranking powers of our nation, are in grief, deep grief right now. And this just kind of exasperates a lot of the feelings I felt when I knew Eric was in that second plane. And it's hard to watch like our nation go through this. It's hard to lead through this. It makes no damn sense. And I don't want to forget 9/11 today either, and I'm so glad that the county had enough emotional intelligence to hang our flag at half staff. Thank you, Gary, for that leadership. But I'll be at the ceremony tonight. It will have a much different meaning for me than it ever has as we remember this. But this has to stop. This has to stop. Right now in the city of Portland, for 90-plus days, we have had political violence outside the federal law enforcement detention center. Judge Ellen Rosenblum decided that the police do not have to enforce the law. They have the discretion. While women are being quartered, physical violence is happening. The law is being broken with impunity, and now these people who break the law and erode at the very civil society in which we all must uphold can operate with impunity. And it's happening in our own community. We all remember the Summer of Love in 2020, and Portland still has not recovered. Political violence, no matter what side it comes from, must be stopped. And it must not have an environment where it can foster and grow like it does in Oregon. We diminish the memory of those that sacrificed and martyred everything for the values of this nation when we allow that behavior to continue and go forward. And I know I'm a county commissioner in Clackamas County, sitting here in Oregon, like having a conversation with my constituents in a way that a county commissioner normally would ever probably have. But I can't move forward without saying that truth. And so as we remember 9/11, as we remember Charlie Kirk, as we remember the children in mass a couple weeks ago that were mowed down by a violent radical in Minnesota, as we remember that our current president had his life attempted at twice in 2024, as we remember the billions of dollars in public property damage across the country and the lives lost because of the political rioting of groups like Antifa, as we remember those before us in the 60s and 70s that Commissioner Savas talked about, We have to evaluate what we are doing to stop this madness, or we will lose Oregon and we will lose the United States. The Republic cannot allow this to happen. With that, I'll yield back, and I apologize for the passion, but I am just sharing my heart right now with what I've experienced personally the last couple days.
Thanks. Thanks, Ben. Commissioner Helm.
I hope that we all, and I think that we all do, denounce political violence, violence of any kind, for that matter. We do all remember where we were on 9/11. I have been at the top of the World Trade Center, and I remember going downstairs and watching them crumble on TV, and it was one of the most emotional experiences I'd had in my life. I'm going to go back to business because I think we have said, I think we all agree, and we all share your passion, Commissioner West. We all share the sadness. We've been through a lot of political violence over a lot of years, and I do hope it stops. We attended a great thing Monday, most of us, the groundbreaking for the Caring Place. Commissioner West spoke at that, very passionate again, as he always does. This has been a long time coming. Again, this is a facility, this is a building that's not just a building. It is to have a place for our service providers to help those most vulnerable in our community. This is huge. It's going to house the Father's Heart, Love One, Compassion Court. There will be both medical, mental health services, addiction services. It's going to be a fantastic facility once it's built. But again, it is about people. It's not a building. It's about the people and taking care of the people who help the people. So if you've been to the Father's Heart, you know that they make food all day long with a hot plate. With a hot plate. So they will have a full-size kitchen to make this food, and I'm very impressed with the whole project. It was an exciting thing to be involved in, and for those of you who would like to attend the gala coming up on October 10th, I'll put a little plug in at the Abernethy Center. Please go online to A Night of Caring is what we're calling this gala, and it will help us raise funds for building the building. I also attended the Oak Lodge Library tour. I'm excited. It's just around the corner from my new grandson's home, and my daughter-in-law takes their son to the library every week. He's 10 months old now, and it's going to be a fantastic place for him to learn and grow. Even more impressive than the library, which I grew up in libraries, they were my safe place, is the park. The park outside that building is just fantastic. So I'm very excited to open. That's going to be opening October 7th, I believe. Is that right, Gary?
The library is a soft opening.
The library is a soft opening.
The grand opening celebration is October 18th.
8th. Okay.
18th.
18th. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. But it's going to be a great place for people to gather and learn and grow and be kind and love one another. And I heard from, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Freakonomics Radio. It's a great podcast. Very famous economist on there who said that our greatest currency is love. Our greatest currency is love, and don't forget that. Yesterday, yes, we went to the Parrot Creek facility. Fantastic. They've done just an amazing job of incorporating the buildings with nature. One of the things that Simon spoke to, which I just loved, is because remember the previous building was concrete cinder blocks, right? Mm-hmm. And it felt like a prison, a very bad prison for that matter. But that the mentality of people was that kids who did wrong didn't deserve anything better than that. And kids who already started out with a handicap based on parents, trauma, drugs, whatever, deserve a better place to heal and grow and move forward in society. So it was a very touching tour. I was very impressed. It's just a beautiful facility, and it's going to do a lot of good work. We had another meeting, Chair Roberts and I, yesterday with ClackCo Service Center. And this is one of these organizations that I've not been as familiar with, that it has a food hub, right? I've heard the name, haven't really associated it with the amount of work that they do. It's not just a food hub. They have programs for rental assistance and everything else. And they're facing some severe shortages, as many other organizations are that have relied on grants and the general public and all these other things. And so keep that in mind. ClackCo Service Center, do look it up. They provide some wonderful programs for those in need. And one of the numbers that just struck me is food insecurity. Food pantries were never meant to take care of 40% of the population.
That's right.
And it's a remarkable number, and it's a scary number. And when you go to the grocery store and you can't leave without each bag costing $100, we have some serious problems. So anyway, just keep that in mind. They need help, and I want to put a plug in for them. I'm going to the Eagle Creek CPO meeting tonight. Eagle Creek people, please attend so I can meet you. And tomorrow I'll be attending the Eastmont Water Company tour in Damascus, and I'm not that familiar with it, but I guess I'll learn more tomorrow. So I'm going to yield to you, Chair. I kept it mostly to business.
No, that was great update. And just a few quick comments, probably echo some of the other comments from my colleagues, but yep, Pear Creek, amazing, tremendous service they provide, and I'd like to kind of have some information so the public can have a better idea about the treatment options that they have there for non-justice involved juveniles. I think that was really beneficial, their bed capacity. So they're still just getting open. Not everything's up to 100%. So that was a great opportunity. Caring Place, just quickly, great, groundbreaking. I will tell you, I was absolutely shocked. I showed up, and this gentleman came up to me, and his name is Ryan Shoup, who I know very well. His father was killed in the line of duty in Clackamas County. His name was Jimmy Shoup. And it's actually his mother, who is the brainchild, Terry, that started the Caring Place. She started out of her garage. I had no idea the connection, and I guess just really an amazing family that has just continued to give back to the community. And I heard lots of stories about how she would just go out and help find food and services for people in need. So just amazing individual. So I thought I'd say that. Quickly, also, I want to remind folks, Veterans Day of Service is September 27th from 10 to 4. Encourage people to register. It's a great chance to give back and support our veterans. On 9/11, as Commissioner Schrader has said, there's a ceremony right over here. I'm a big fan of VFW Post 1324. Commander Greg Arnold's going to be there and honor guard and recognize those that died in 9/11. And just a quick couple points about that. Wow, it was 24 years ago. It does not seem like it was 24 years ago. And when you really look back, I mean, it was just under 3,000 people lost their lives. Out of that, 343 were firemen, 71 were law enforcement. The ages ranged from 2 to 85. And on YouTube, I'm a little bit of a YouTube nut, and there's a lot of YouTube stuff on, and I've watched some of those firefighters going into the building and being on that ground floor, having no idea that that building is coming down, and the amount of floors that they really had to go to try and help people. So Anyway, I think it's important for all of us to never forget those that lost their lives. A lot of changes have happened since then. I encourage you to show up for the opportunity to also recognize VFW Post 1324. And then we'll kind of follow up a little bit on Ben's comments about Charlie Kirk. Ben actually grabbed me as I came out of a meeting and told me, and I was shocked myself, and I could definitely tell Ben was rattled and what kind of impact this has. And I mean, there is no place for this and in our country. And I just want to say, we're just being in law enforcement for like 40 years, this is where I've kind of seen things go. And unfortunately, it was back around Sandy Hook, if you remember.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of our early ones, the town center in our own county. We had Reynolds, then we had Umpqua, and, you know, I had been to those, and then we really looked at nationally what's going on, and then locally, what can we do? And I talked to Gary about this the other day. There's an association called ATAP, Association of Threat Assessment Professionals. Companies like Disney and UPS and a lot of corporations, law enforcement and others belong to that, to make sure that we're getting all the right education to how do you assess potential threats, because they come in the numbers, and the goal is never to miss one that is really a concern. So, you know, it's one thing I want to make sure we're doing what we can to perhaps have staff start to attend that, to make sure that the right people are going to that. I think that one of the things that I have seen over the years, and that is if you see something, say something. When, as an investigator, you go back, you will see red flags along the way, and you just wished that somebody would have said or done something. And I imagine that's going to be the case in this. So again, I just can't emphasize enough. It might not seem like a big deal, but I encourage you, if you see something, it's a concern, call, and give authorities a chance to kind of follow up on it. So with that being said, it's unfortunately, it's kind of a somber day. And I think that's where we lean on each other, come together as a community, and become stronger and learn what we can do to make lives better for everybody here. So with that, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, thank you for joining us today. There's no further business. This meeting is adjourned.